Selamat siang. Welcome back to another Bali COVID-19 update. This is April 28th, 2022, and my name is Bruce. And I was not going to do a Bali COVID-19 update today. I was going to do a Singaraja snippets walking around video. There's a market, a traditional market that I have not been to in years, and I wanted to go there. 5 o'clock this morning, it started pouring rain. And so I'll try tomorrow and see. But there's a lot to do anyway. And in response to a request to do an update on what you need to come in, I will put that up in the next few days. I just have to go back and look at all the requirements. But they haven't changed really. This is the 28th, and tomorrow is the day when it is expected to be the highest number of people traveling for Mudik, right? Friday, end of the week, and people are coming. And our first story today is going to be about hotels in Denpasar and filling them up. But first, let's take a look at the numbers. Neither good nor bad, the numbers are stable, slightly inching up nationwide. National new cases, 617, a little up from yesterday. National recoveries, 1,178, down a lot from yesterday. National deaths, 36, up just a bit from yesterday. Bali new cases, up to 22. Bali recovery, 17, and good news on the deaths, no deaths in Bali related to COVID. As Mudik is in full swing, and we are getting close to Eid, numbers are stable, and so that is looking good. And the government is out active on social media reminding people to follow protocols. Of course, if you've listened to this channel before, or if you've been around or are in Bali, you know that a lot of people are not following protocols. That seems to be the way things are these days. So let's get on with it. 80% of hotel rooms in Denpasar have been booked ahead of the Al-Fitr holiday. Wow. According to data from the Regional Tourism Office, Sparta of Denpasar City, about 80% of hotels in Denpasar have been booked by tourists during the Eid holiday starting in early May. The head of the Denpasar Tourism Office said that Denpasar tourism was booming again after the government eased travel restrictions to Bali. He said most of the people booking rooms are domestic tourists. In general, hotel occupancy in Denpasar has reached 50%, especially in Sanur. It's reached 43 to 47%. That's interesting because it didn't seem like it to me from where I was and from what people were telling me on the street that, yeah, there's tourists here, but there's not that many. But I don't know. I don't have any access to these official figures. Moreover, if we look at the streets in Denpasar City, it started to get crowded compared to previous 2 years. Hopefully this is a sign that the economy is starting to grow, including tourism, he said. He said a comparison of people arriving in Denpasar, 90% are domestic and 10% are foreign. Meanwhile, related to the upcoming long Lebaran holiday, he's optimistic that more tourists will come to Denpasar, especially now that hotel orders in Denpasar have started to appear. He said there's many hotels that are booked. Around 70 to 80% of the rooms in Denpasar have been booked. Be on the lookout for those license plates from Jakarta and Surabaya. They always show up at this time of the year. Nevertheless, he reminds tourism actors and tourists to obey health protocols. Because even though the cases have been sloping, COVID-19 is still there. And yes, we know that, and that seems to be lost so on a large part of the population. So good news. People are coming, and a lot of folks going down into Denpasar and booking hotel rooms, and this is going to be a big shot in the economy. Okay, some more good travel-related news. Pelita Air to launch Jakarta-Bali flight route. I haven't heard about Pelita in a long time. PT Pelita Air Service, a subsidiary of state-owned oil and gas company Pertamina, has announced the launch of a Jakarta-Bali route as it goes head-to-head with major airlines. Oh, okay, exciting. Always good to have another airline because it gives you more choices in terms of when to come and when to go, and also hopefully some price competition. In a move away from the charter business, Pelita Air will use 2 recently purchased Airbus A320-200 aircraft for a popular route from Soekarno-Hatta Airport in Jakarta to Igusti Ngurah Rai Airport right here in Bali. The inaugural flight for this route is today. The route is to be served daily with 1 flight in either direction. Flights are to depart from Jakarta Terminal 3 at 9:20 a.m. and arrive in Bali at 12:10 p.m. and the flight will return to Jakarta at 2:55 p.m. According to the Pelita Air Service President Director, the route was chosen because it's a favorite destination for tourists, especially as the pandemic gradually turns endemic. And he noted that the flight will also serve Al-Fitr holidaymakers this year and business people. Tickets can be purchased through travel agent partners Mitra Tours and Travel, Bayou Buana Travel, and Panorama JTB Tour. The opening of the Jakarta-Bali route marks a bold departure for Pelita Air's core business of chartered flights, though it has some experience running scheduled services in the past between 2000 and 2005. And I remember that when they did have some flights, because I was flying a lot in those days. Pelita Air also plans to open routes to other popular tourist and business destinations in Indonesia. And this is interesting, I didn't know this, the small airline has also reportedly been groomed by the government to take over domestic routes from state-owned Garuda, Indonesia, if the flag carrier fails to solve its financial crisis. That is a shame. I love Garuda, Indonesia. We'll just have to see how that works out. And some more flight news. Yogyakarta Airport opens international routes to Malaysia, Singapore. Okay, more good news if you are a traveler. So you can now go to Malaysia and Singapore from Jogja and from Malaysia and Singapore to Jogja. State-owned airport operator Angkasa Pura I, or AP1, confirmed that Jogja International Airport, or YIA, is set to open the first international flight route to KL, Kuala Lumpur, or vice versa, starting April 29th. Starting tomorrow, the big day for mudik travel. According to AP1 General Manager Agus Pandu Purnama, we've also received a letter of application from Scoot Tiger Air to open a Singapore-Jogja international route, which is planned to start June 1st, 2022. And you know, I occasionally say you should go to this place if you haven't been there. Jogja, I love Jogja. If you haven't been to Jogja, go. And I think I probably said that many times. But Pak Pandu said the Kuala Lumpur-Jogja route will use Air Asia, and it's scheduled for twice a week on Fridays and Sundays. The Singapore-Jogja route, meanwhile, is scheduled to serve passengers 3 times a week. And he added that Jogja International Airport is fully ready to welcome Eid travelers. The peak of passenger movement in the airport is estimated to be tomorrow. Okay, so some good news on the tourism front, and not just tourism, but travel in general. Okay, time for another foreigners behaving badly. And this is not a weird one. This is just one where this guy must be stupid. Russian Caucasian arrested in Bali for selling cheap but broken iPhones. In this story, it's not just the seller that's stupid, but the buyer as well. Officials from the North Kuta police arrested a Russian foreigner, 25-year-old youth, and he was arrested on suspicion of fraud. He sells iPhones at low prices, but it turned out to be broken. The head of public relations for the Badung police said that they were notified by the victim who claimed to have bought a phone from the perpetrator for 3 million rupees for an iPhone 12 Pro Max. After negotiating the price, the two of them agreed to make a transaction using COD. They met in Kerobokan, and after arriving home, the victim was disappointed because it turned out that the cell phone could not be operated. They didn't check when they bought it? Okay, there is the first stupid act. Feeling cheated, the victim then reported to the North Kuta police. The police asked the victim to lure the perpetrator out into the open by pretending to buy another cell phone. Now, here's where the other stupid, because if you're selling a broken phone to somebody and they call you up and say, I want to buy another one, you've got to wonder, what's going on. So on Tuesday, the victim contacted the perpetrator and they agreed to meet around 2:30 in the afternoon. And without suspecting it, the perpetrator agreed, but he did not know that the victim was bringing police officers. During the meeting, the police immediately arrested the perpetrator. 2 units of handphones branded Sativa in California were also seized. The perpetrator has been arrested. Currently, he's still being questioned at the North Kuta police. If you're gonna buy a phone from somebody, a used one, I assume you're gonna check it out first and see if it works. And if you're in the scam business, you're gonna see a person that you've tricked once and you're gonna try to trick them again, figuring that they haven't even opened the phone and tried it. Wow, Darwin Award winners here, 2 of them. And what about Thailand? Thailand Pass to end on June 1st. The cancellation of the Thailand Pass registration is expected to take place on June 1st, with tourists using their TM6 immigration form for vaccination declaration, according to the Tourism and Sports Ministry. The Test and Go scheme is scheduled to be strapped on May 1st, and with the removal of the Thailand Pass set a month later, this will create a more seamless travel experience and stimulate more travel to the country, according to the Tourism and Sports Minister. Also, eliminating the Thailand Pass means Thai embassies and consulates can reduce their workload as they work to help approve the required documents. Tourists might be required to complete their vaccination record on the TM immigration form upon arrival, with immigration officers responsible for screening the form or vaccine passport. However, the government hasn't decided yet to step up screening measures by mandating booster doses, as the vaccine coverage of each country differs. If the infection rate caused by the Omicron variant if the infection rate caused by the Omicron variant subsides by June 1st, the remaining travel regulations must be unlocked as the country prepares to announce COVID-19 as endemic. Another country wants to move to the endemic phase. Meanwhile, the plan to collect a 300 baht tourism fee from international travelers will be submitted to the cabinet within the next 2 weeks to implement in roughly 3 months. Okay, 300 baht tourism fee. I don't know what the exchange rate is. It's been a long time since I've been in Thailand, but I'm guessing it's somewhere around $10. According to the tourism minister, he said if there is no requirement for health insurance in the future, the tourism tax can offer insurance to tourists, covering medical costs for green level COVID patients. The governor is setting a target for foreign visitors this year of 7 to 10 million. Boy, they're being optimistic. And delegates from the Ministry of Sports and Tourism and the Tourism Authority of Thailand plan to visit Saudi Arabia to sign an MOU in order to bring tourists from Saudi into Thailand. According to the minister, the Middle East market can help to fill the void in the low season thanks to Thailand's abundant natural resources and rainfall, which matches this segment's travel interest. So if you're coming from Saudi Arabia, I guess you want to see some rain. And here is something, I was just talking about this last night with a friend of mine in Japan, and wouldn't you know it, there is a story about this today. Sativa Nusantara speaks of marijuana for medical use. Yes, I was talking to my friend in Japan about why Asia doesn't get into the medical use of marijuana. The executive director of Sativa Nusantara Foundation talked on Wednesday about a criminal case involving a man consuming marijuana that he independently grows to treat leg pain. He was captured, however, after he shifted his use of marijuana from personal use to being a drug dealer. According to the executive director, he said the use of marijuana is still currently illegal and its use for other reasons is unjustified. He said numerous medical researches and studies regarding cannabis have motivated a number of people to attempt self-treatment through the use of the plant. It's still classified as an illegal drug by the Indonesian law. He said the interesting fact is that many countries which legalize the use of medical marijuana have motivated Indonesians to try the treatment. However, for transactional purposes, this is not allowed. And he believes Indonesia should consider legalizing cannabis for medical purposes. He said other countries have utilized medical marijuana and it is a common thing. And I would hope that this happens here. Probably not going to happen in my lifetime, unfortunately, but it's something whose time has come. And yesterday I talked about Pak Luhut meeting the richest man in the world, and here's some more on that. Luhut reveals why Tesla interested to invest in Indonesia. Right, why is Musk interested in Indonesia? So Pak Luhut said that the one reason that attracted Tesla to invest in Indonesia is the country's potential in the nickel industry, which is a critical ingredient for the EV battery. Pak Luhut said the real relief for me personally was when Musk revealed the reason he was interested in this partnership, which was because of my presentation on the major nickel industry potential in Indonesia. That changed his perception, as he sees it to be promising in supplying raw materials for electric vehicle batteries. I thought that Indonesia was going after producing these things themselves, not just supplying the raw materials. They want to make money, produce the things here. Why can't we get the technology and develop it here? Make our own batteries. Why are we just going to export raw materials? I thought we were past that stage. Apparently not. Apart from the recent meeting, Indonesia's entourage at Tesla's headquarters, which of course included Luhut's nephew, and good question about who paid for it. Luhut said he plans to invite Musk to attend a B20 forum that is included in the series of the G20 summit in Bali. Minister Luhut said, "I'm hoping this is not our last meeting with each other, and we hope there will be discussions regarding the progress of Indonesia's nickel industry that will take our country to enter the global EV industry supply chain." And in the past, Tesla had shown some interest in entering the Indonesian market with their cars, but that never worked out for whatever reason. And so maybe Musk is going to come back to Indonesia and invest in the nickel production. And one final story on Buleleng Museum's sarcophagus collection. Buleleng Museum sarcophagus collection reconstructed. I didn't even know we had a sarcophagus collection at the museum. So the reconstruction process is expected to last until next weekend. A total of 4 sarcophagi have been reconstructed. Of the 4 sarcophagi, 2 have to be repaired. The first sarcophagus was found in 2004 in the village of Al-Fitr, and the sarcophagus broke into 4 pieces, while a second sarcophagus was found the same year in Buleleng village. And others are coated with a special coating that make them more resistant to weather and microorganisms. The head of cultural conservation at the Buleleng Culture Services, Gede Angga Prasaja, revealed that the sarcophagus had been damaged since it was found, the sarcophagi. So far, the Department of Culture has been unable to repair it because they don't have an adequate understanding of the process of reconstructing archaeological objects. So they wrote to BPCB Bali asking for help with the reconstruction. And according to Pak Angga, there are currently still quite a few sarcophagi stored in communities, among them Tegalinga village and Sawan village. I didn't know that. Okay. The archaeological objects will be re-identified by Disbud. Pak Angga said, "We will identify and record based on GPS so the location is certain. Ideally, the sarcophagus should be placed in the village so that people can use these ancient objects as a means of education." I think that's a great idea, if you can store them without any further damage. Okay, that is it. If you are coming to Bali, travel safe, and I hope you have a good flight. If you found this video useful, helpful, informative, interesting, inspiring, humorous, hilarious, non-irritating, I appreciate a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. I do videos a number of times per week. I'm still working out the number. And on Sunday, we have a cooking video with my wife, Sue. Okay, thanks for viewing. Be kind to someone today. Stay safe. And I will see you tomorrow with something.